Hey YugiTube, welcome to the Blue Corner, coming to you all with a deck profile, and that is of my budget Dark World deck and how it is looking at this point. I'm just going to try and do this rather quickly in an attempt to keep the video under 10 minutes, but long story short, it's a Dark World deck that tries to keep within a reasonable amount of money spent on it. So obviously no tour guides, that's just far out of my price range, but also just like keeping with the overall idea is basically you could build this with just cards from the structure deck and just generic cards that are lying around. Although there are some cards in here that you will have to go out of your way to get, like drag downs, but that card is so good for this deck, and it's still at least like a $6 common, so it's not going to be too much for you to spend. But I'd reason if you got this deck in lowest rarity, it would be about $40 maybe? No, well, 40 to 50. It's not like way up there though. But anyway, it's a Dark World deck. These guys' effects are, if they're discarded by card effects, not cost, they get effects. If they're discarded by your opponent's card effects, they get even better stuff. But more often than not, that second part's not going to happen. You're going to be discarding them by your own card effects that are not cost. So yeah, cards like Lightning Vortex will not work because it says discard one card, then do stuff. Anyway, so the deck focuses on this guy, 3 Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dark World. If it's discarded by a card effect, you get to pop one card on your opponent's side of the field, and then you can bounce one face-up Dark World monster other than itself to special summon this from the graveyard. Use your big boss monster. He's 2700 attack on its own, 3000 with the field spell up. He is easy to summon. He destroys stuff. Yeah, you just basically summon this guy and proceed to beat face with him. He's very, very good. I honestly wish some more boss monsters would have this guy's kind of special summoning condition. It's just, yeah, like you mirror force it, he'll just come back the next turn. 3 Snow, when it is discarded by a card effect, you get to search any Dark World card from your deck to your hand. So this includes Grapha, the field spell, dealings, whatever you need for the situation, Snow will get it. It's 2000 with gates up, so it will beat over Thunder King Ryle. One thing to note, Grapha special summon does not start a chain. That means it's an inherent, which means Thunder King Ryle, Blackhorn of Heaven, and Solemn Judgment can in fact kill Grapha. So yeah. And when it's Snow discarded by your opponent's card effect, you get to special summon something from the graveyard. That's irrelevant. 3 Brow, Huntsman of Dark World. Yeah, I know, I have a couple of alties. I pulled one and I traded for one. But yeah, this guy's common too in the structure. When he's discarded by a card effect, you draw a card. If it's your opponent's, you draw another. Yeah, he's just something you can summon, bounce for Grapha, and you can discard it to draw stuff. He just helps speed through your deck. 2 Beige, Vanguard of Dark World. I prefer this over Gold and Silver because at the very worst, you can just normal summon it and bounce it back for Grapha. He's just a 1600 beater, 19 with the field spell up. You summon it, bounce it for Grapha. You discard him and Grapha. You special summon this, you bounce Grapha back in your hand. And yeah. As for the Dark World monsters, 1 Trance Archfiend. I want to take this up to 2, but I don't have 2 at this moment. Hopefully they'll change. But this guy is very nice for the deck. Once per turn, you can discard 1 Fiend type monster to have it gain 500 attack until the end phase. It's not a cost, it's part of the effect, so it does trigger Dark World effects. So it becomes 2000 without the field spell, 2300 with the field spell, so it punches over problems like Thunder King and whatnot. And the other fun part is when he is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add one of your banished dark monsters and add it to your hand, which is any one of these things that you will be removing from the game. Yeah. Very nice, especially if Fabled Raven is not an option for your deck, because Fabled Raven is like $50 at this moment. Lastly, one Morphing Jar. Yeah, this guy just sets off all your Dark World monsters and he refreshes your hand, so very nice. But then for the spells, I got 3 Gates of the Dark World. All Fiend type monsters gain 300 attack. Once per turn, you can remove from play 1 Fiend type monster in your graveyard, discard 1 Fiend type monster from your hand to the graveyard, and draw a card. This triggers Dark World effects. It gives you a draw boost, and it just makes your guys bigger. Grapha is 3000, and yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. 3 Dark World dealings. This is especially important to have at 3 when you don't have tour guides. The more speed this deck gets, the better. You need to get your hand filled with Dark Worlds and discard outlets so you can get your shit going. And 3 of what I consider to be one of the best cards of the deck. Drag down to the grave. Both players reveal their hands, then select 1 card from each one and discard it, and then draw 1 card. You get to look at your opponent's hand, get rid of the problem card that you do not want to see, like Dark Hole or Heavy Storm, then you get a draw. This causes your Dark World effects to go off, so if you put down like all the cards you don't want them to discard and leave them in the hand of Grapha or Snow, they're forced to either lose a card or have you search out your entire deck for something. And it just helps give you an insight to your opponent's hand. Then you got your 2 MST, a lore, because everything is dark. Card destruction, much like Morphing Jar, it causes all your Dark World monsters' effects to go off and just replenishes stuff. It's one of the best cards in the deck. Dark Hole, Foolish, it's an inherent neg 1, but you can just Foolish Grapha, summon Dark World, bounce, he comes back, you immediately make up the loss and advantage. And then 1 monster of 1. No Heavy Storm because you are having a field spell out most of the time. I do think Heavy Storm is a little bit counterproductive for this deck. And for the traps. 3 Reckless Greed. Got this idea from just a lot of recent Dark World builds. Again, it's more speed to get your stuff going. One of the major flaws of this deck is you need 2 specific things in your hand in order to start making your plays. A Dark World monster and a discard outlet. If you don't have either or, then your deck is just going to stall on you. Reckless Greed helps this by giving you just more draw power that can help you get those cards that you need. And it's really fun when you chain a whole bunch of these to a Heavy Storm, and you draw 6 cards, and you only have to skip 2 draw phases. 2 Deck Devastation Fires, because Grapha and Snow, well, Snow with the gates up, it makes this live, and Grapha is just perfect fire for this. DDV is an awesome card. You guys know how much I love that. Get to see their hand for 3 turns as well. Double Mind Crush, yeah, you get to look at your opponent's hand a lot, so Mind Crush is just crazy. And at worst, if you got just a Dark World monster in your hand, you could flip up Mind Crush and call something wrong just so you can get that card discarded. It's not a cost or anything, so yeah, Mind Crush will get your Dark World monster to go off. Fun play that I saw that I like to do: flip a Mind Crush and call Gate Guardian or Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. They're not going to have that in their card, so you'll get your Dark World monster. And if they do have that card, then, well, frankly, if that happened, I would be laughing very, very hard. 2 Skill Drain, because it wrecks everything. And yeah, it's just one of the better ways to answer problems. That's Phoenix Chains, $15. Effect Rate is still pretty high, so Skill Drain is a very good card to run in your deck, and your Dark World monsters aren't affected by it. And the only thing it shuts down in here is Morphing Jar and Trance Archfiend. And frankly, I'm willing to risk having 2 of my cards become dead in order to make 17 to 21 to 30 cards in some decks completely useless. 1 Torrential Tribute to bomb the field and reset monsters, and 1 Trap Dust Shoot because it is the best single trap card in the entire game. So there it is. Budget Dark World. What will I do with this deck when I decide to throw the budget out the window is a very, very good question. I mean, I do have some of the cards here that I would run. Doom Cows, Mirror Force, the Solemn's Duality, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do to put this back up. I mean, I also have a Dark Smog, so I could take out some cards and just see what happens when you spend more on it. But yeah, this is just basically the overall idea. If you want to build a fun deck for your locals and you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, you can buy 3 structure decks of Gates to the Underworld, and Skill Drains are very easy to get. Mind Crush is in there. Reckless Greed, that's easy to find. Dust Shoot may be questionable. TT's been reprinted as common forever. It's just the drag downs are probably the more harder to find cards, but overall, it's very good for what it does. It just needs a little more tweaking, but I'm liking how it's going thus far. So thank you all for watching, and until the next time, take care.